Hi, and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this reading, I'm going to be looking into love advice from your future self. So you can apply this to a connection that you are in currently, somebody that you have just met. Maybe you're single. This can be advice in a general sense about your love life, or you can even apply it to somebody from your past, somebody you are in separation or no contact with, just whatever resonates for you in your particular situation. There are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is this card. Group 2 is this card. And group 3 is this card. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and fill whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose this card, which I will go ahead and start with, and this can kind of set the theme for your future self's love advice to you. And this card says, "The past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith." So you may have recently broken up with somebody, or this could have been kind of a long-term no contact period. Maybe you've been single for a while. You've already worked to, release attachments to your past romantic entanglements, situations where maybe you were ghosted, blocked, left with a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. And so definitely the advice just from this first card here from your future self is to keep going in that path of release. Particularly in terms of new opportunities that you are wanting to generate for yourself, either with someone from your past. If you are hoping toward reconciliation, everybody has free will, but you can definitely do your part to kind of lighten the energies of that situation by releasing resentment, seeking and eliminating as best as possible any blocks within you resulting from the circumstances with this individual or other circumstances of heartbreak from your own romantic past. Releasing these things from the heart space so that you are open and ready to receive a new chapter, a new phase, a new version of love. Again, in terms of reconciliation, that same principle can apply if you are trying to manifest in new love for yourself, to keep going, keep following the path of again, seeking and eliminating those blocks within you, healing even from situations where you never received an explanation, you never received an apology. Things, maybe life circumstances took you and another person away from one another, or things may have ended badly with you and someone else, and you could have been harboring some resentment, some energetic cords of attachment to that may have even up to this point, or as a result of these things, kind of resulted in some distortion, something that is kind of clogging the vibration that you are sending out energetically. And so working to create that very inviting space within yourself for love to enter is definitely something that should be top priority at this point in time. This is the best way that you can contribute to kind of speeding up the timeline to intersecting with the person that is meant to love you in all the ways that you need, or also just kind of calling in the next sort of phase of your romantic journey. For some of you, that will be your forever person that you're calling in, or someone from the past who will circle back around to you. This may even just be a different learning experience with love. You may still be a few steps, a few individuals away from that forever person. Nevertheless, there are crucial lessons to be learned. And it feels like if this is not a forever person that you're magnetizing in, that for a lot of you, there's a stage of preparation to at least call in an experience in romance, which may be something that's long-term. It may be a relatively short connection with somebody, but it feels to be almost where it has a lot more positive energy to be exchanged between the two of you, versus kind of triggering and difficulties and a lot of stress and chaos and disappointment. You're getting ready to step into a chapter of fulfillment where you feel really good in giving and receiving love. You're feeling very seen, very appreciated. It's a healthy connection. It's a very positive experience with somebody. Again, whether that turns out to be, your forever long-term person, or just somebody that you have romantic dealings with for a period of time. In some way, your future self is really encouraging you to do what is necessary to call in love, because your next experience in love is set to really help to rewrite some of the trends or patterns that you had experienced up to this point in romance. So the healing work that you do within yourself calls in kind of a higher vibration or a higher caliber of partner. Of course, using your discernment will be key. Not everybody that is kind of drawn to your light, drawn to the vibration that you emit, is in perfect alignment with you. There will be tests and kind of challenges along that path. But you are almost entering this mode or this frequency of being able to, after discernment, call in and really align with somebody who will add to the measure of your life, learning experiences that come through positive interactions rather than learning experiences through discomfort and difficulty. So, I'm actually going to start with some of these Whispers of Love Oracle to get some more kind of advice from your future self at this point in time, what you might need to focus on, take into consideration, or some kind of perspective that your future self wants you to know concerning love. Okay, we have Back to What You Love. Reevaluate your desires. Focus on love. Look for the good in everyone. And express love through gifts. A small token of love can convey great appreciation. So this is really tying in a lot of ways with what I was channeling off of this introductory card here. It's this idea of a reset, needing to kind of release at this point in time any sort of lingering energetic cords of attachment with the past, with disappointment that may have inevitably kind of clogged the vibration that you are emitting. Maybe you're a little bit pessimistic, a little bit frustrated over what you've experienced in love up to this point. Still some residual kind of wounds or guardedness that you're being urged to kind of transmute these things into more of discernment rather than kind of expecting the worst, expecting, a repeat of previous cycles, being hyper vigilant as far as looking for red flags, or again, almost this energy of kind of in a subtle way expecting repetition. There's a fine line between being discerning and again being hyper vigilant that your future self wants you to really check into at this point in time. No matter kind of what you've been through, however many series of repeating patterns or a most recent situation or a trend in your love life that has been very disappointing, very damaging to you, it's taken quite a toll on you. For some of you, you may have even been in kind of a prolonged period of being single as you've needed to really take the time to heal and reset within yourself, and this idea of kind of putting yourself back out there maybe for the first time in a while, or after a very heartbreaking experience with somebody, maybe somebody you thought was the one, somebody you were invested with in a long-term sense, or that it was just a very kind of chaotic and emotionally charged situation, not always in a very positive way, that it feels like there's a bit of hesitancy, a sense of something that you're putting out energetically speaking, where it's kind of gone beyond the layer of discernment into caution. And it's a vibration of fear, which seems to be either keeping new opportunities at bay from you in a certain way, or with this idea of express your love through gifts. People who may have extended romantic offers towards you, flirted with you, even trying to kind of open the lines of friendship with the idea of sort of building to something more. There's something within your vibration that is almost kind of keeping these opportunities at arm's length, which is very contrary, it feels like, to what your true desires are. This yearning for kind of love and companionship and romance. Again, maybe trying to get back out there for the first time in a while. But there's something that's still, it's residual, it's lingering within you that your future self at this point in time is really guiding you to kind of check in with. I'm drawn to all this blue right here on the express love through gifts, and this is tying in for me to like throat chakra energy. So something about the narrative, the self-talk, maybe, kind of convincing yourself even subconsciously that you don't feel like you're very lucky in love, that things don't work out for you in love. Maybe a bit of kind of envy as you are looking around at other people, happy couples. That can actually be particularly exacerbated at this point in time. It's a timeless reading, so whenever you find this, take the messages as they resonate. But at the time that I'm recording this, on February 10th, we're like almost at Valentine's Day, so that can be a very triggering time of year for a lot of people, especially if you've had some disappointments in romance recently or as a trend. That can be kind of almost bittersweet, this idea of like yearning for romance, love is in the air, but at the same time looking around at all the people who are coupled up, who are going out, on their Valentine's dates, getting flowers, getting chocolates, just kind of spending that quality time in that air of romance. And so at this particular time, you may be highly triggered, and it may be kind of activating almost this defensiveness or this pessimism, to where it's somewhere within your frequency and that's being emitted out, and it's almost it's acting in a counterproductive manner to what you're hoping to magnetize in. So using those deep triggers, though, not to shame yourself for that, but to utilize that as a learning tool. This is a way in which you need to be more compassionate with yourself. This is an aspect or area within you that is still needing to be kind of chipped away, sort of moved beyond or transcended in some manner in order to free up and almost cleanse the vibration that you're putting out. Just because somebody was careless with your heart in the past, or maybe there were many someones who were careless with your heart, maybe your boundaries weren't the best, maybe your discernment wasn't the best, now's the time to kind of forgive and move forward, but not forget. Again, that idea of the discernment, keeping eyes wide open in a very subtle manner, but at the same time not almost setting the energetic stage to where you're calling in like the self-fulfilling prophecy, taking the lessons from the experiences that you've had, and kind of even forgiving people that may have, again, been very careless or uncaring with your heart and with your feelings. This doesn't mean you need to let these individuals back into your life. It doesn't mean you let them off the hook for anything. It just means you actively are kind of working to detach the space that occupies within you in terms of heaviness, resentment, bitterness. A major component of that as well is also a layer, of kind of self-forgiveness that feels to be very important. Ways in which you may be very subtly kind of judging yourself for not having seen the signs or tolerating bad or callous behavior from another person for longer than you should have. And that this might be almost kind of a narrative or some self-talk that is running beneath the surface, that is causing you to almost at this point in time be very hard on yourself, and again kind of constrict this vibration of openness to love that's being sent out at this point in time. So your future self really wants you to kind of check in with yourself on that. Learn from the past, learn from the mistakes, and make the commitment to yourself to do better going forward in the future. Not everybody that you will encounter and that you will have a romantic connection with is going to be like the people from your past that weren't kind of being very reciprocal or weren't faithful or weren't treating you the best. That's not going to be the story with everybody that you meet, but something within you is kind of clinging or holding on to that, and it needs to be sort of released. It needs to be, let go from your energy in a very subtle and yet tangible manner in order to call in that which you are hoping to receive kind of further down the road and in the future. This idea here as well of this path can speak to kind of dwelling or holding space, maybe for someone from your past you're hoping will return. And it's this idea of almost your future self wanting you to release an attachment to timelines and expectations, move forward, with openness to whatever kind of love, whatever sort of experience the universe has in store for you that is in alignment with your highest good in ways you cannot yet perceive. When you do that, you are the kind of the way shower in that circumstance. It creates a greater possibility for the person you've been holding space for to also make changes within themselves. If they choose not to, if they choose to kind of stay stuck at whatever vibration you were at, sort of the stalemate with each other, or they choose to kind of move off in another direction, nevertheless, you've acted in accordance with your own highest good. The universe wants you to align with love. It wants you to, experience that fullness and that contentment of partnership with another like-minded individual, a resonant soul. But staying in place, staying almost in this energy of pining or hanging on to grief, holding your breath and kind of waiting in place in some manner in your life, it's not serving the situation. It's only kind of contributing to the stagnancy. And so while you can't control what the other person is doing, your future self wants you to, be very proactive in that, take steps that are necessary and that you feel guided to take in order to kind of move beyond that, that kind of crossroads point where things kind of went not according to the plans that you had originally thought would unfold between you and an individual. This can also really speak to, being stuck in some way internally, vibrationally, holding on to some kind of resentment or bitterness or sadness or loss or a sense of defeat, a sense of being feeling very foolish, a lot of kind of being hard on yourself, or almost having this hyper vigilance of not wanting to repeat the same patterns and therefore kind of not taking opportunities to expand and grow and experience something different from what you've known and loved up to this point in time. The idea of express love through gifts, kind of looping back into that idea of Valentine's Day, even if you don't have a significant other at this point in time, or maybe you're just starting to talk to somebody, it's not at the point where you're going to be exchanging gifts and words of love and romance. Now's the time to really be that love for yourself. Buy yourself flowers, make yourself a dessert, allow yourself the opportunity to have chocolates, make a special dinner, order in. take some time to, meditate, take a salt bath, or any kind of bath really can just be very soothing and very kind of nurturing to yourself. Treat yourself at this point in time rather than kind of like looking and waiting for somebody outside of yourself to sort of shower you with romance. If you don't have that other person at this point in time in your life, then you certainly can use this kind of vibration of love being in the air to really love on yourself extremely at this point in time. The greatest gift you can give to yourself beyond kind of material things, beyond, sort of that pampering, which definitely has a place. It is something which, when you honor and appreciate yourself, you again put out that vibration of wanting to be honored and appreciated by others. But the greatest gift you can give yourself is, again, checking in with self and saying, what are some of the ways that I'm stuck or that I'm limiting my kind of ideas and what I am open to as far as love and partnership in the future? How am I allowing my past disappointments or past versions of myself that may have tolerated or called in or participated in certain things that weren't in alignment with my highest good? How am I allowing that to kind of hold me back from my destined path or what awaits me in terms of different experiences, different kinds of people and partners? So starting to do that work of detachment. Again, salt baths can be really good for cleansing your energy, calling upon spirit, calling upon your angels. Archangel Michael in particular can help you with cutting these cords of attachment. A lot of people think that it's just kind of a one and done sort of thing. There's a lot of frustration that people will experience saying, I called upon Archangel Michael, I've asked, and I still can't get over this. Repetition is the key here. It's something where, you need to maybe incorporate this into part of your daily routine, your daily practice, maybe even something weekly where you are again in sort of the realm of self-love, carving out that special time where you make ceremony out of that. It becomes a very sacred space for yourself where you are setting that intention, taking the steps through, using sage, using incense, using sound bowls, using Reiki energy. If you are certified in Reiki, maybe even getting Reiki from a licensed practitioner or a certified practitioner. I guess I should say there's no licensing in Reiki. But things of that nature can really help to kind of dislodge some of that embedded energy. Calling upon Archangel Michael, doing this on a regular basis and understanding that some of the layers of these things that you may be holding inside are very deeply embedded within the psyche and within the subconscious and within the energetic body. It may take more than just one pass to really get at things, but over kind of the course of time, cumulatively, you will notice a difference. Also kind of following that up with the idea of releasing the cord cutting. You're creating a void or a vacuum at that point in time. And so that you're not almost kind of calling back in or sort of refocusing on that same kind of heavy and dense vibration. The idea of express love through gifts can really also tie into filling that space, that emptiness you've created with positive affirmations, mantras, visualizations, journaling, a dream board, a vision board, what it is you do want to experience in love, actively calling that in. Also, engaging your angels in that. Archangel Raphael is a really good angel to work with as far as heart healing is concerned, calling upon him, meditating in that sense to, again, call in what you are wanting to experience, vibrationally speaking, getting very specific in those details, but also not clinging to a particular expectation or outcome of exactly what that's going to look like. Sort of walking that fine line between being very precise with what you do want to call into your existence and an openness to the unique way in which the universe will deliver that to you is definitely something that your higher self wants you to focus on at this time. So I'm going to get a couple of romance angels to dig a little bit deeper into this. Okay, we have healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. So these two cards are really tying into kind of this theme with the other three. The idea here of healing family issues, digging down into the core of yourself. being very honest with yourself and very gentle in the process of kind of retracing your steps, romantically speaking. What are the trends and patterns that you are identifying as far as kind of repeating archetypes, themes, casts of characters that are sort of re-emerging? It's almost like for a lot of you that might be sort of the same story playing out in different ways, with kind of different people. The idea of, kind of like the same person wearing different faces, basically, where, despite your efforts, despite the ways in which maybe it's different types of people you're dating, or having connections with, or different kind of periods of your life, similar themes seem to play out, the same kind of series of things dissolving into kind of a particular point of ending or conclusion. Noticing the patterns, really becoming very honest from as neutral of a place as possible, focusing only on the details, only on the specifics, taking responsibility for your part in things, but at the same time not shouldering all of the burden. Because for a lot of you, since that's coming up, it feels like there may be something here with self-talk where you're putting a lot of blame on yourself as far as I should have seen the signs, I should have advocated for myself, I should have not tolerated this, I should have put an end to this sooner, I should have never let this person into my life. How did I fall for such tricks or such behavior again? Why does this always happen to me? Ideas like that, narratives like that, there's a core to that. It may be something that stems from your childhood, something in your lineage, maybe something that you experienced or you witnessed in terms of the dynamic between your parents, a theme that sort of is the trend in your culture, in your family, in sort of your community, in even your generation, of a certain series of kind of patterns that you are a link in this chain. You do have that ability to break free from that, and your future self really wants to encourage you that if you've already really begun this work of kind of looking beyond the details and the specifics of, maybe the most recent heartbreak that you've had, or, just kind of having a blanket sort of idea for, maybe being unlucky in love, too broken to be lovable, any ways in which you may be kind of taking on a victim mentality at this point in time, which isn't to say that what you've been through, wasn't horrible. It was not, outside of the realm of what anybody would deserve to go through. But you do have the ability to take your power back from those situations and from those experiences by utilizing them as a way to dig within and see kind of what within self has either been contorted as a result of these experiences, what sort of unconscious programming or pattern within self has, kind of looked at these circumstances as normal. If you grew up in a volatile household, for example, you may in some subconscious way kind of resonate with volatile relationships or call these things in. That could be just on kind of the ego-based level, on a very subtle, a neurological level. That feels normal because it's what you've been accustomed to. But it is possible to, through identifying these things, through recognizing these things, to make change in an opposite direction. So really, again, this idea of kind of releasing, embarking upon a new path, creating a new trend in some way, breaking free from personal patterns and generational patterns and kind of things that are the result of your upbringing and your circumstances is something that your future self wants you to focus on at this point in time, so that you essentially, with this idea of this could be the one, your future self really wants you to focus on becoming that love you seek, the love that you desire external to yourself. It manifests within first and foremost. So actively taking the time, viewing that as a very profound and radical act of self-love, to be vigorously honest with self, to allow yourself to almost even release bitterness or the narratives that you have kind of resonated with, or a certain series of sort of reoccurring events, reoccurring cast of characters, or a significant heartbreak that in some way you've really been almost leaning against, and the time is now to sort of let that go. Allow yourself to open to the possibility of something different, something more than you've experienced, something more enriching. The universe has something in store for you. The one is out there. No matter what stage of your life you are at, no matter how many disappointments and heartbreaks, no matter sort of what your prospects are right now, or if it's just crickets, there's nobody around, it's just you and your own energy, you can definitely really find that love you are seeking within first and foremost. Work to really heal and shift and step into a more confident vibration within self, that the past need not dictate the future. And by actively, taking those steps to nurture yourself, to love yourself, not waiting for somebody outside to provide that validation, to provide those goodies or those gifts or that nurturing or those compliments, making this part of your everyday activity, the mantras, the self-care, the self-appreciation, the self-love, all of these things. It changes your vibration. It changes the frequency of what you are emanating, which calls in a different vibration of experiences for you moving forward. Part of that healing, though, is also, your future self wants you to know, is kind of taking a chance, being open to being pleasantly surprised at what you magnetize in, being open to the reality that what you've experienced in the past, this isn't all the universe has in store for you. But it requires work on your part to clear the way, to prepare that space, prepare that very nurturing garden within yourself, where seeds of love, when they arrive to you, are able to bloom in a very prosperous manner. So I'm going to get one of these little mantra cards, and this might be a good place to start as far as kind of that reprogramming of the subconscious, your stories about love and about yourself and your prospects. Okay, and we have, I am clearly guided by my revered guardian who protects me always. So beautiful reference there to angelic support at this time, your spirit guides surrounding you, loving you, cloaking you in the vibration of love, especially while you're going through this heavy lifting, this process of kind of unpacking these layers of self, releasing and healing and saturating yourself in that love that you desire from another person. It begins within. Begins with creating that wholeness, first and foremost in all aspects of who you are, accepting your personal history, ways in which you had really great experiences, ways in which things could have gone a lot better in romance, and understanding that there's more in store for you, calling upon your angels to help you with this, to assist you with this, being open to divine guidance, nudges, following the cues of your body and of your emotional body, your spiritual body, for what it is you need. If you need rest, if you need an indulgence, if you need to, just snuggle up on the couch and in your PJs and watch movies all weekend, whatever it is that you need to do, there's no wrong way to go about this. And again, it's a long-term process. It's something where it's not an immediate fix. It's not a quick fix. This is, hard work. This is consistent work, but it's very rewarding work. You have the power in your hands to change your circumstances and to start exactly where you are right now. You have all the raw materials within yourself, the ability to introspect. It's not always easy, but again, it's the greatest gift of love that you can give yourself, to actively engage in that process of rigorous honesty with self. Releasing what no longer serves, calling in the vibration and the experiences that you do wish to cultivate, that you do wish to experience in your life. And it's your future self is also bringing forth this message that before you know it, the one will be there. So, as much as this might take a few rounds of calling in Archangel Michael to release the cords and Archangel Raphael to infuse you with love, this isn't going to be a daunting task where it's going to take decades to get to that place. It feels that for a lot of you, when you start really incorporating this into a daily practice or a regular practice, maybe something you do one day a week, even, or just as regularly as you feel called to, you'll be really surprised at the way things start to change. That internal landscape changes, and then your outward experiences will change as well. So I'm going to get a few initials for you, and this can just be some added confirmation of like a first or last name, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. I've got D, S, N, R, O, Z, I, and P. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I'm also running a sale in my Etsy shop now through the end of the month of February. Everything is marked down 15%, so if you've had your eye on a piece of jewelry or a dream catcher, or you've been considering getting a reading with me, it would be a good time to act upon that, as I don't often run sales. And I've launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there is a little different from here. I do pick a cards as well as general energy check-ins, but the topics that I cover are related to spirituality, wellness, ascension, and self-love. So if any of that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out, and I thank you for your support there as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose this card, which I'll start with to get a general kind of overview of the love advice from your future self right now. And it says, when it comes to matters of the heart, there is no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. So some of you might be at a crossroads point in terms of allowing someone from your past back in, maybe a call that you've had within to reach out to someone from the past, to extend an olive branch, or maybe they have been the one to extend that and you're kind of vacillating about, should I forgive them? Should I let them back in? Should I just move forward? This can also be kind of the energy of not being sure if you should hold on to space for somebody, waiting for them to return, allowing them time to kind of find themselves and to do their healing, or if you should open up to other prospects of love that are in store for you. And your future self is really wanting you to know that whatever decision you make in that regard, maybe for some of you even this is kind of, a sense of feeling that you need to almost withdraw from the dating world, withdraw from relationships for a period of time to work on yourself, to really heal some kind of core issues or wounds or experiences that you've had, but you may have gotten some pressure from outside people encouraging you to just get back out there, get back on the horse, just not wallow, process your grief and kind of move on and get over it. But you're feeling almost that that's not necessarily the right thing to do, or that you need some more time to heal, or just kind of a break from relationships and romance in general. So again, your future self is letting you know that whatever decision you make, that there are going to be both kind of lessons and blessings to be experienced from that, that there's no right or wrong decision, that your intuition knows how to guide you the best. And while you can seek outside confirmation and validation in the form of readings, in the form of, getting the advice of friends and family, you really are your best judge as far as that is concerned. What is the right choice for you? Not what other people are telling you should do, not kind of the advice that comes through on a pick a card or even a personal reading, but it really comes down to you. And if you're having a hard time sort of deciphering your own intuition, meditation can be a good way to do that. Setting the intention, prayer, asking for confirmations, things that are very obvious and easy to recognize rather than just ambiguous or kind of nebulous signs and synchronicities. Becoming very clear with your spirit team at this point in time about, I need some answers. I'm having a hard time deciphering these things. I need like a clear yes or no. And then not seeking these things out, not looking, not being hyper aware, but just kind of open to receiving those nudges. And when the right answer comes to you, you will feel that inside. It will resonate. Some of you may get kind of the chills or goosebumps, or there'll be something inside of you that comes to a space of alertness, that you know that this is the confirmation you were asking for. You know this is the answer you were seeking. You know that this is the right path or the right decision to make in these matters as far as love and romance are concerned. If you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, or other people are putting pressure on you to maybe settle down, to get back out there, to release a particular person, that you've had a very difficult time kind of coming to terms with what has happened, romantically speaking, between the two of you, again, your future self is really wanting you to know that nobody outside of yourself can really determine for you what the timing and the best manner of kind of evolution in the heart space is concerned. It's almost like your higher self has it covered. And so it can be good to get kind of the outside opinions and the views of others, kind of take in this information. But as we say in tarot, and really as a good kind of recommendation for all things in life, take what works and leave the rest behind. People who give advice, whether that's unsolicited or people that you have sought out, they can only really understand and provide that guidance from their level of awareness, from their perspective. Sometimes this isn't always the easiest advice. It's not always what we want to hear, but trusting it about, does this fit? Does this feel good? Does this feel like the right decision to make in this circumstance moving forward? Rather than getting defensive or even just leaning too much and kind of surrendering your autonomy to, again, that outside validation. Your future self really wants to encourage you at this point in time to go within. It might be also an important step on building your intuition, building your discernment at this point in time. If you find yourself at a crossroads and you are really, again, seeking outside of yourself, maybe watching a lot of readings, getting a lot of readings, asking a lot of people, talking to a lot of people about your circumstance, about your dilemma, all of this kind of projection outward, your future self is encouraging you that you're not almost finding what is satiating, you're not finding what resonates outside of yourself, because the answer lies within. Take your time. Don't rush into any decision one way or another. The horizon that is meant for you will not pass you by. It will be there waiting for you when you arrive. So if you feel highly pressured and not really sure which way to turn, disconnecting, taking some time to just enter that quiet space, maybe spending some time in nature, or again, actively kind of praying and asking for definitive signs, definitive guidance from your higher self, from your spirit guides, from your spirit team, to help you in navigating the best way forward, is really what your future self is wanting you to focus on, as this will align you with kind of the most beneficial next experience or next phase of your life as far as love and partnership is concerned. So I'm going to get some of these Whispers of Love oracle cards to dig a little bit deeper and see, what does your future self want you to know right now? What is the love advice for you at this point in time? Okay, we have the heart of the matter. There's more going on than meets the eye. The union of hearts, a love connection that defies explanation. And true love. This love is once in a lifetime. So that idea of more going on than meets the eye, this again is really speaking to that internal guidance, something in kind of this indecision that you find yourself at this point in time. Maybe this is even a new love that you have encountered and you're really not sure if you should open your heart to this person, give this person a chance. Where's the connection going? Any ways in which you've really been seeking outside yourself. The purpose almost, or one of the purposes of what you're experiencing at this point in time is that nudge to go within, to seek your answers within yourself, to ask for those signs and synchronicities, and be open to receiving them as they pop up in your experience in very unexpected ways. Following that guidance within, following the truth of your own heart can really help you to make the decision that is best for you. Seeking within yourself as well. If you're at this point of sort of indecision, maybe having a difficult time letting someone from the past go, this can really tie into some codependency wounds or even kind of like fears of abandonment that are causing you to sort of cling to hope, where maybe there's not a lot of indication for that, where you've been getting signs and nudges to kind of let the situation go, release, allow it some time to kind of settle, marinate, develop on its own, or maybe that there's another path that awaits you. There's another love out there. There's a love that is more pure, more in alignment, more true, and more resonant with who you are. But it's almost, you're not taking the steps necessary to kind of meet that love halfway. And so digging beneath the surface of that, what is causing you to sort of cling and to just hold out hope for something that maybe you've been invested in, for a while, for years, with no kind of signs of this being resurrected in any way, no signs of movement forward, no signs of evolution on that other person's part, that it might be time to really go within and make that decision, to open up to love in another form. Maybe even if this is someone you had thought was the one for you and you've really been holding that space. Maybe this is someone that gave you a lot of promises and never really delivered. These things fell through. There wasn't a lot of action or proof supporting their promises or claims, that they were trying to work on things, that they needed some time. And it feels like with that, I'm getting the clock has run out. So in some way, your future self wants you to know that there's another destination. And whether it is with this person that you've been sort of holding the space for in a transmuted form, or it really feels to be that for those of you kind of holding on to someone from the past, there's a new experience of love, somebody who is more in alignment with who you become through this journey, through this process of kind of self-discovery. Wherever you're kind of stuck in place at this point in time and what you've been doing to sort of seek answers, to heal, to grow, to kind of release certain patterns within yourself, that perhaps this person from the past you've been holding on to, they're not meant to come forward with you into this next phase of your journey. And so your future self is encouraging you to really open up to the possibility that there's more out there. That this doesn't invalidate what you shared with this individual at one point in time, but they may not be somebody who is meant to continue with you in this lifetime. This doesn't diminish kind of the nature of that bond. For those of you that resonate as a twin flame, this can definitely fit into that sort of situation, where it's kind of an eternal connection. There will be other lifetimes that you'll have another chance with one another, but in this lifetime you may be at that crossroads point where there is another love, a very high level soulmate, somebody who will resonate with you, somebody who can meet you at your level, who's done the work, who's open, ready, and willing to receive and reciprocate the love that you have to give. But as you're holding yourself in place, you're kind of holding your breath or waiting for this twin flame that is not, they're not getting with the program, they're not evolving, and if they are evolving, it feels to be almost in another direction. That maybe you need another cycle of just kind of waiting. Maybe that's another week, another month, another year, another handful of years before you're kind of ready to let that go and release. but your future self is letting you know that something almost needs to change in this circumstance, whether that is the way that you're holding space for this individual, really just kind of releasing the expectation of this working out in any kind of a precise manner or with a particular time frame in mind, seeking to just kind of cultivate and enjoy sort of the abundance you have around you. That being a very valid choice, as well as the decision to kind of wish this person well, send them off with love, with the understanding that there will be other lifetimes for the two of you, but then kind of moving into the next phase of a fulfilling romantic connection in this lifetime, something that is not so triggering, something that is not so difficult, not so chaotic, not so heart-wrenching. That is available for you. And your future self is just letting you know that whatever decision you make at this point in time, this doesn't need to be like the final say. You can learn something from this. There will be almost consequences and blessings to whatever choice is made at this point in time. Even if this is in terms of just a new person that you're kind of on the fence about, if you should give them a chance, you're not really sure where things are going. Maybe you're still sort of healing from some other sort of heartbreak from the past and you're a bit guarded and defensive. Again, your future self is letting you know there's no wrong choice here. Actions do have consequences. So this may be something that becomes a learning experience for either of those situations, where you may have a little bit of regret for a chance not taken. It may be something, though, where, looking forward, you really applaud yourself for holding your ground until you were comfortable. This is really all about your future self wanting you to recognize that you'll know when it's time to move and in what direction. Outside kind of parties or, even kind of these confirmations and validations that you would seek outside of yourself, those only go so far. The answer lies within trusting in yourself to really urge you in the direction of a shift in the time and manner that you are meant to. Oftentimes when we have indecision, it means that there's something that still needs to gestate. There's something we still need to learn where we are. There's no wrong decision, and there will always be another chance to kind of take that step forward. If you don't take a chance on a new person that has come into your world, this isn't the last person that will show up. It may be something that, it becomes an educational experience for you, that the next time somebody comes forward and, extends that romantic energy, that flirtation energy towards you, you open up to that. You're a little more trusting. You're a little more willing to explore that, a little less guarded. Maybe this is something with, again, kind of clinging to someone from the past, holding out hope, and, another month goes by, another year goes by, and maybe it's at that point that you're ready, willing, and able on your part to leave this person to their own devices, leave them where they are on their healing journey, to do the work or to not do the work, and taking those steps, those action steps in whatever way you feel most comfortable, to opening yourself up to whatever other blessings as far as love and partnership that the universe has in store for you moving forward. There's no right or wrong choice here. Either situation, whatever kind of crossroads you find yourself at, there's always the ability to course correct in the future, and your future self is wanting you to really just rely on your own intuition, your own kind of internal compass, that nudge within you that will tell you when to hold, when to stay, when to kind of remain in place, and when to take action steps forward. That is really, at this point in time, what you're being tasked with leaning more deeply into through this kind of situation of like a romantic crossroads that you find yourself at. So I'm going to get a couple of romance angels to dig a little bit deeper into this as far as what your future self wants you to know. Okay, we have make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. So this idea of make the effort, the steps you're guided to take, this reinforces the idea of your future self wanting you to know that your discernment is top notch at this point in time. Your intuition is spot on. If you've been getting kind of like recurring messages, recurring sort of themes, reoccurring confirmations, maybe you've gotten several readings about a person or a particular topic, maybe even from different people, and it all keeps coming down to that same message. There's this idea almost of, your future self wanting you to ask yourself, how much longer are you going to kind of need confirmation after confirmation, sign after sign, before you are willing to kind of take action? There's no right or wrong answer in that. You may need a few more rounds of that, or you may find yourself to be well educated enough at this point in time to make the decision that's right for you moving forward. Either way, whether that's a choice to kind of stay in place or to release someone from the past with love, maybe this is, accepting some offer, leaning in and exploring a blossoming romance with a new person. Maybe this is something where you're just not ready for that yet and you politely decline that offer. Neither of these things is the wrong decision. It all just comes down to you. But it's almost like not making a choice is making a choice. It's just prolonging and in many ways almost missing the opportunity to experience kind of love that awaits you, whether this is love within because you've taken your power back, you've made an empowered decision, whether this is a sense of love within because you equate a sense of loyalty with allowing a person to kind of evolve in their own manner, and so you choose not to explore other romantic options with other people at this time. Maybe this is the act of self-love through opening yourself up to new and different partnerships, and understanding that you are worthy and deserving of healthy and reciprocal love. And if a person or people from your past or up to this point in your experience have been unable to provide that, or you've just been very dissatisfied, opening yourself up to the arrival and the intersection with an individual or individuals who can match you at that frequency. The idea of reconciliation and the past person definitely can tie in for a lot of you with this decision of should I stay or should I go, and it feels it in kind of a major way. And this is something where the results of this are relatively speaking, everybody has free will, so people can choose to do the work or not, but your decision may be to detach from an energy, something where you've been really holding space, you've been kind of waiting in a particular place in like a holding pattern. You're that way shower, you're that change maker. You shake up this energy and this vibration, this dynamic between the two of you, and it instigates that other person to start doing that work within. So for a lot of you, your forward action, your effort in the direction of kind of your highest good, your own abundance, an openness and a willingness to experience love in whatever form the universe wants to provide it, energetically it sends a signal, a beacon to this other person that gets them more motivated to kind of do this work internally within themselves. For others of you, this is something where maybe your intuition is telling you that a person from your past they're doing the work, they're getting ready to return. And you may have a lot of people in your world telling you, just let them go, just get over it, they're never coming back, they're never going to change, they don't care, they don't love you, whatever that story is. Trusting that intuition, trusting your gut first and foremost, beyond what people external to yourself are saying, is really what your future self wants you to do. Regardless of the outcome, there's something to be learned at this point in time through this experience, through this crossroads that you are at. For others of you, your future self is letting you know that on the other side of kind of jumping beyond anywhere where you've been kind of stuck to kind of old patterns and narratives, or stuck on an old person, there's a deep past life connection, a deep soulmate connection, a soul bond waiting for you on the other side of this very proactive, this courageous choice to move forward, to leave the past behind and open yourself fully to the prospect of what new is coming in. This may require that you stop watching readings or pick-a-cards about what your person is up to. You stop getting personal readings about that. You stop investing so much attention and energy. If you're watching them on social media, you stop doing that. You redirect that focus elsewhere. And when you do that, when you shift toward the horizon and opportunities and possibilities, then you come into alignment with the arrival of a love that is ready, willing, and able to meet you reciprocally at this point. Not somebody who's a work in progress. I mean, we're all a work in progress, relatively speaking. but not the same experiences that you've had with someone in the past who's dealing with a lot of fear, a lot of triggering. That's not to say you won't encounter people who aren't fearful and aren't triggered, but it's this idea of, this forward momentum that your future self wants you to not get too comfortable or sort of stuck in place, but being open to transmute, being open to change, understanding that even if you encounter another fearful person, it's another almost feather in your cap in terms of experience. You've gone through that. You know how to deal with that. It'll become easier each time you're needing to sort of release. And in the time and manner that you're meant to, you will intersect with that person who isn't going to run. They're going to do the work with you. They're going to confront these things, these triggers with you, that has already kind of reached a level of ascension within themselves, deliberately, or, just kind of as a byproduct of their own, whatever path they have taken to kind of grow and expand beyond sort of their own personal patterns and experiences, that you will intersect with that person who will be excited to love you, who will feel very grateful to have your love, to have your presence, who will see you and appreciate you, who will co-create with you, who will partner with you in a reciprocal manner. And it will, it'll be different from maybe that person in the past you were stuck on. But it's the idea of almost with, this past life energy, this deep soulmate connection. It's not like it's just going to be, this intensity or it's lukewarm. No, this other kind of person that is on your horizon that you are moving towards, you both have the ability to move towards each other. That is an electric connection as well. That's a very beautiful and magical connection as well. But you'll never know unless you try, is basically what your future self is wanting you to understand at this point in time. In the time and manner that you're meant to, really evaluating and seeing, are you ready to kind of move beyond? Are you ready to sort of, open your heart and open your mind to new experiences? Which, the timing is right on that. Whenever you internally feel nudged in that direction, if you feel you still need some more time, trying to decipher, trying to really, understand or even hold space for somebody that you were dealing with in the past, or you're just not ready to kind of put yourself back out there, you still need some time to heal and process what you've been through. Your future self wants you to know that that's okay too. There's no right or wrong decision in here. It's not just one and done. The universe will conspire with you to bring kind of heightened experiences into your life, into your world, but it requires you to co-create with it, to take steps in your own kind of way and in your own time and manner, to release kind of disappointments of the past and move forward with the expectation of new and better experiences going forward. So I'm going to get one of these little mantra cards, and this can be kind of just some final thoughts from your future self, or this can be something that you incorporate into maybe a daily mantra or like a regular mantra, just something to think about in terms of this kind of crossroads energy. Okay, and we have, I am a conscious creator of the energy around me. So that is really tying in with the idea of making the effort. Whatever decision you make, it will come with its own series of kind of lessons and blessings. If you feel that the decision you make at this crossroads point, if it yields results that you are not entirely satisfied with, there are always opportunities to change. It is never too late to change the course of your approach to things, your life. Every day, every moment, every second is an opportunity to move in a different direction from how we have been moving, to change our perspective, to change our approach to things. And understanding that the ways in which you are proactive, you help to really call in that which you seek by becoming that first and foremost. Not settling for less than you deserve, not settling for second best, not getting too comfortable in the energy of discontentment. Hearing that out, taking the lessons home of what that discontentment has to teach, but then at the time and manner that's comfortable for you, understanding that your experiences up to this point in time, even your disappointments, this is not all there is in love and life for you. There's a whole world out there. There's a whole spectrum of love. There are people who are waiting to love you that you have not yet met. You don't know each other. They're fresh faces, although for a lot of you, this is, there'll be that deep soul familiarity, that past life connection. So your future self just wants you, to be very conscious, very mindful of the narratives you're telling yourself. Really check in and see, are your actions or the things you're participating in, or even the vibration that you're holding romantic experiences in the past and how you view your romantic future. Is this something that is sending out the frequency to call in very high vibrational experiences, abundant experiences, or have you gotten maybe a little comfortable in sort of lack or limitation at this point in time? In the time and manner that is most comfortable for you, you'll get that inclination, you'll get that nudge within, you'll get that kind of definitive confirmation for you that the time to act in whatever direction that is here, that it's now. And so being very courageous as you step forth into the unknown and trusting that whatever you're experiencing right now, it's all subject to change. But that change begins first and foremost within yourself. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got U, Y, E, H, K, O, W, and B. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I'm also running a sale now through the end of the month of February in my Etsy shop. Everything is marked down 15%. So if you've had your eye on a piece of jewelry or a dream catcher, you've been considering getting a reading with me, now might be a good time to act upon that, as I don't often run sales. I've also launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there is a little different from here. I do pick-a-cards as well as general energy check-ins, but the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, ascension, wellness, and self-love. So if any of that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out, and I thank you for your support there as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose this card, which I will start with to get kind of a general overview of what your future self wants you to know right now as far as love. We've got Secret Admirer. Someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. So you may have met somebody recently. Maybe this is a friend and you're sensing something kind of bubbling beneath the surface. This person may be kind of guarded with you, a little bit nervous or shy, but it's something where you can tell maybe that there's something that they want to express but that they aren't. This may also be kind of setting up some red flags for you, like, what is this person hiding from me? What is going on here? They're being sneaky or duplicitous in some manner, and your future self is wanting you to know that they actually have romantic feelings for you, deep feelings for you, maybe deeper than they had thought was possible, or that kind of sprung up very suddenly. And so what you might be sensing as kind of awkwardness or tension, or just something that almost feels a little bit sneaky, kind of, it almost feels like it's an effort on this person's part not to reveal all their cards yet. And your future self wants you to know that if you've been kind of nervous about this, or a little bit skeptical or guarded about this, that it's almost you're picking up on this person's guardedness as well. Kind of some fear of approaching you, fear of kind of making these things known to you. This can also really tie into if you are single at this point in time. No prospects on the horizon. It's crickets. Even if you are dating people, that there's somebody else who's getting ready to come forward in kind of the near future, the immediate future. They may in some way already kind of be in your peripheral. Maybe they're part of a friend's circle. This could be somebody at work. This could be somebody, if you have like a social media presence, an online presence, this person already subscribes to you, follows you, they're watching your content, they're kind of scoping you out from a distance, and so your future self is letting you know that very quickly, relatively speaking, sort of what is hidden will be revealed, that somebody's getting ready to kind of come out of the shadows, make themselves known. This may be very surprising for you. It may be something that kind of catches you off guard based on sort of the nature of the dynamic, or again, maybe based on kind of how they approach. It may set up some red flags for you, where you're like, I don't know if I want to just start talking to this random person online, or if it's like a coworker, for example, this could be something where you're concerned about that, about like gossip or rumors in the office, or if it's someone that's part of your friend circle, or someone who is a friend, and they are getting ready to announce their feelings or the intentions to kind of take things a step further with you. That again, there may be kind of this energy of sort of leeriness about you, that your future self is kind of wanting you to not judge the situation based on appearances, but to really feel energetically into things. Allow yourself time, check in with yourself if you're feeling extra triggered, extra guarded. Sometimes we can almost create false flags for ourselves and confuse these things with red flags. And so this might be a really good opportunity as well to sort of unpack that a little bit, to, trust your intuition, trust your guidance. If something feels fishy, if something feels off, rely on that first and foremost. But this can also just be something where, maybe there are some unhealed aspects of your romantic past, kind of a fear of getting hurt again, ways in which your heart chakra might be a little bit closed off, where your sort of gut reaction is just to jump into skepticism, really sort of seeking to root out any duplicity, or kind of a feeling of like, is this person trying to trick me? Are they trying to mess with me? What do they want? What's the catch? What are they trying to get out of me in this situation? And that may be a result of people you dealt with in your romantic past that were trying to pull one over on you, trying to get something out of you. We're not acting with the highest degree of integrity. But that at this point in time, this new kind of person who's getting ready to announce themselves, come forward for the first time, or really open up about an intention or an interest in taking things further, that the triggers you're experiencing, this is a beautiful opportunity for you to heal. It feels in some way that this is part of your soul contract with this individual, is for them to kind of approach you maybe in a time and a manner, or at a time in your life when you have certain things going on. Maybe love and romance is the furthest thing from your mind, so this person popping up in the time and way that they do, it really catches you off guard, but it's almost I'm hearing a double blessing. You both are being confronted with the opportunity to experience a very enriching partnership with somebody that in many ways may be different from what you've known in love and partnerships before, and you have an opportunity to really confront some aspects, some unhealed aspects or wounds within yourself, or some heart chakra blockages that you were not even aware of that existed. You may be very proactive in your own kind of healing and ascension journey. And so this could be something, again, that's very surprising. It's like, oh, I didn't know that I was still closed down in that area, or, that there was a little more that needed to be worked on. If you're feeling really good about yourself, you're radiating abundance, you're radiating confidence, things are going really well. It almost feels like this person coming forward helps you in many ways to be both the blessing that self-work, the efforts you've made has yielded. You've called in something different. You've called in a new opportunity for love and romance. And they also serve to kind of highlight or sort of point the way to other areas concurrent and independent of this situation that you can continue to work on as far as your own sort of healing and growth and ascension. It's like approaching the onion of healing from a different layer through this kind of new person that is getting ready to come into your life. So your future self definitely wants you to not take the situation at face value, not just lean upon that first sort of like, who is this? What does this person want? Whoa, I'm not ready for this. That for a lot of you, that's going to be the reaction. And it's very easy to just lean into that as, oh, good, my discernment, my intuition, it protected me. Great. Oh, that's wonderful. For a lot of you, it goes deeper than that. It's almost just this unconscious trigger, this extra woundedness, this hypervigilance within you that is needing to be neutralized or stepped down a bit, not just leaping to conclusions, but really taking the time to breathe into it. Not even giving an answer right away. If this is someone, a stranger who's kind of approaching you, somebody online, or again, like a coworker or a friend, it's okay to say, I need some time to think about this, but to actively think about this, not just push that person off, not just, kind of defer things or turn into a runner. Maybe you dealt with like a runner chaser situation, and it almost feels like your future self is wanting to tell you that you're going to be soon confronted with a situation where you may very unconsciously become the runner. So here's a beautiful opportunity to understand a little bit from the perspective of people you dealt with before, who that was their reaction, that was their instinct, and now you have a choice. Do that, be like that, just kind of allow the fears of the ego or these wounds or these kind of unconscious things, allow that to be the puppet master in the situation. Or take some time to breathe, take some time to feel beyond that, to really sort of scratch beneath the surface and say, is there truly something off about this situation? Or is this an aspect of self, an aspect of the ego that loves to cling to the status quo, that is in some way creating this false flag within me to protect me from a new and kind of different experience, or the potential of, possibly opening up my heart and getting hurt in love again. And if that's the case, if you're able to decipher that this may be just kind of a trick of the ego, that the duplicity really is coming from inside, then again, it's a beautiful opportunity to really rewrite that programming, to not just act upon that impulse, but to really use your intuition to guide you, and to be open and receptive and understanding that the work you've been doing to heal, it's paying off. It's, even if you don't see it right now, you're calling in love of a different caliber than you have known up to this point in time. And these are not going to be people who are just going to be lurking and watching from afar forever. They, or a particular person, will become emboldened, will make a move towards you. And so also your future self letting you know to keep up the good work of what you're doing to kind of heal and release past heartbreak, because it is very effective. You are actively, daily, kind of changing the signal that you are emitting out into the universe. And souls that are meant to encounter you and experience you in a romantic capacity, you're meant to experience one another. They're actively being called in. They're hearing the call. They're answering the call. And, people you had been dealing with in the past that maybe were not ready for the intensity of the connection with you. They had a lot of unhealed things within themselves. You're getting ready to encounter somebody, or, kind of a group of options who are ready to meet you, who are ready to stand with you and kind of face the intensity and the nature of the love that you are inside and that you have to give. You're getting ready to embark on the next stage of your romantic journey, but you may almost be the one to get cold feet, and so your future self wants you to just kind of check in with yourself about that. So I'm going to get some of these Whispers of Love oracle cards and see what else your future self wants to tell you right now. Okay, we have get to know each other, learn to meet another's need for love. Have patience, love is patient and kind always. And be supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. So these cards really are speaking to that idea of a new person, a secret admirer, somebody who has taken notice of you or will very soon kind of gravitate into your proximity and will be moved by you in a very beautiful manner, moved to take action. The idea of have patience and get to know each other is, again, your future self encouraging you to take a step back, breathe, take your time. You don't need to rush into this situation. You also don't need to just jump to the first conclusion. Anything that's very triggering about the circumstance and situation, this doesn't mean overlook red flags. It means take some time to unpack that. For a lot of you, you may have gone through a substantial ascension or healing in your life, maybe recently, maybe you've been on this path for a while. And so the idea of almost, kind of this idea of wish fulfillment that you'd had, or a different kind of love and partnership that you'd wanted to experience, when that arrives in the flesh, it can be very overwhelming. That initial instinct is to just kind of pull away, to pull back in the shell, to question. Almost this kind of, if you've needed to be protective of your heart, you've needed to kind of close off, to heal and set up boundaries. It can be sometimes a little bit difficult to kind of open those gates when somebody new comes knocking. We can kind of get into this pattern of just being overprotective of ourselves. And it feels like for a lot of you, this is going to be the case where somebody, or maybe kind of like a series of people that are coming forward or flirting with you, or, asking you out, and you're just you're shutting them all down. And, if that's what you feel that you need to do, there's something to be learned from that. But your future self is encouraging you to just kind of take a moment, step back, breathe, say, is there something truly off about this situation? Why am I so quick to dismiss this? Is there something within me, a heart chakra blockage or some area of, my own kind of personal healing and ascension journey that I was unaware of? It's an opportunity to blossom. It's an opportunity to bloom into kind of putting the theories and principles that you've been working on of opening up to love, being very loving of self. Now you're really being given this opportunity to sort of put the rubber to the road, to bring these out in a material sense of giving and receiving love with another person, with a partner here. Both these cards show people that are partnered up. So for a lot of you, this can be, kind of your future self is also wanting you to know that for a lot of you, this secret admirer is going to turn into a relationship. And it feels like something to where, don't just accept whatever kind of first comes through the gate as a result of this reading. Be discerning, honor that part of yourself that might be inclined to, have that kind of trigger. Again, it's an opportunity for growth. It feels like kind of a double incentive, a double kind of purpose that this person is serving for you, not only to kind of present that opportunity for a different kind of experience or the next kind of, important connection in your life, the next phase of your love life, but they also are providing you with this beautiful opportunity of, here's this trigger, here's somewhere else that you need to be gentle, you need to heal. Maybe even with this child here on the lotus flower, this can tie into some inner child wounds, a fear of being tricked, of that kind of duplicity that might be something you didn't even realize was an element within yourself, that through sort of this almost overly discerning or just very, triggered sense of kind of assuming the worst out of a situation. Like, why would someone be coming forward? Maybe the means that they come forward to you at, like, oh, it's somebody online, I'm not interested in that, and you just kind of shut that down right away, for example. Or somebody in the office and you're just like, well, I don't date people that I work with, period, and you just shut that down. Again, this idea of some kind of inner child wound, that taking a step back, unpacking that a little, understanding that there's a growth opportunity here, and also, really having patience with yourself through this process, taking the time that you need to support this kind of unveiling of the truth of the situation, of what your true intuition, what your true instinct is telling you, discerning between the trigger and the internal guidance and the nudge in a particular direction. It feels also that your higher self, or your higher self, so for a lot of you, there is going to be this like internal knowing that it feels like your future self wants you to know. Your higher self knows the answer in this circumstance, and you may be very confronted by almost an overprotective ego, like an overprotective parent, like a helicopter parent almost, that you're going to be tasked to really check in with, to kind of depart from. Thank that part of yourself that was very kind of nurturing and protective while you were needing to heal, while you were needing to grow and needing to evolve, but very gently and patiently kind of releasing that part of yourself, not chiding yourself for this, thanking yourself for doing such an excellent job to try and vet out unnecessary heartbreak, or people and circumstances that are not for your highest good. But then kind of closing that one chapter maybe out of your experience, where you've needed to be cloistered, you've needed to be inside, you've needed to be in hiding, kind of loving yourself back to a state of wholeness. Now's the time to really kind of step outside of that, move to the next phase and evolve, and to really just trust that higher self's guidance to pull you in the right direction. Your future self wants you to know that, for somebody that's coming in for you, this idea of a secret admirer. So this feels like somebody who, will be approaching you first. And it may be somebody that you need to kind of choose out of several options of people. There may be several people coming forward to you, but there's somebody in that mix that will soon sort of be arriving at your doorstep, or is already kind of, in the vicinity, in the neighborhood in some way. That is going to be the kind of partnership that you have been wanting, that is the result of this work you've done to heal within, to heal a lot of the inner child wounds within, to heal the heartbreak, to release patterns, to love yourself back to a state of wholeness, and that you now are very effectively magnetizing that in. So for a lot of you, your future self is wanting you to know there's a new phase in your kind of romantic journey, a period of being alone, being very disappointed in love is kind of coming to a conclusion. And it's something where, the right person's not going to rush you. They're going to allow you that time to be very patient, or they're going to be very patient while you kind of come to the decision that is right for you. This doesn't mean leaving somebody on hold or unanswered eternally. That kind of leans into that idea of ghosting, or, being the runner in a circumstance, but communication being really a key. Not needing to share everything with somebody who approaches you just right away, but allowing that gradual buildup of trust and intimacy and declaration with each other, opening up, expressing sort of your reservations, the things that you really need in order, and the time frame in which you need to kind of develop into a circumstance. If you feel things are moving too quickly, or you feel a lot of pressure, communicating that, and it feels like, the circumstance that is right for you, that other person will understand, and they will work with you through that process. That this is a beautiful opportunity to get to know a different face of love that is coming in sort of the near future for a lot of you. So I'm going to get a couple of romance angels to see what else your future self wants you to know about love at this point in time. Okay, we have flirt, extend your lighthearted energy to others, and give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. So these are beautiful confirmations of, again, a new energy, a fresh energy that is getting ready to come in for you. And your future self wants you to know that it will be worth the effort to kind of push your way past any triggering, past any kind of fear of getting back out there, fear of opening your heart to love and romance again. It feels like a very intense connection, something that is very... it's right for you at this point in time. This is something that's very in alignment with who you have become. For a lot of you, it feels that this is somebody who is more in alignment with who you are than anyone you've encountered before, which may on some level be that aspect that is very triggering. It's almost like a fear of, is this too good to be true? This person almost seems too perfect. They're too in alignment with me. They've actually done the work on self. They actually are open to me kind of taking the time and working on myself. Maybe you share a lot in common spiritually, or just a lot of kind of common interests in general. You gel with one another, you click with one another. And as wonderful as that is, it can also really trigger, again, those aspects of the ego that's, kind of causing you to question or doubt, or to step into the shoes of that runner energy where you're pulling away almost from your own sort of wish fulfillment. So really checking in with yourself, giving yourself time, giving yourself that breathing room, giving yourself a couple of days or a couple of minutes to just really digest, move at a pace that is comfortable with you, but also being open to kind of this new experience that is wanting to come in for you. A very light-hearted energy with flirt, and also something with the idea of give your relationship a chance, which has a lot of long-term potential to it. And your future self wants you to know that you will be happy that you give this person a chance. Again, there may be kind of several people coming in, but it's going to be one person in particular that may elicit a very strong reaction one way or another out of you. Or it could just be one person that kind of comes forward. This feels like very near future, very immediate with both of these kind of couples here. And then we've got, couples again in these cards where this person is like right around you in some way, getting ready to kind of make that approach, make that move. So very sort of real time in the near future, this could be the case. Take things easy, take things slow, no need to jump in too quickly. This is a great opportunity to kind of use those skills of discernment, personal boundaries, openness to change, and allowing things to develop at a very organic pace, allowing yourself to be flirted with, allowing yourself to be kind of admired and courted, allowing somebody to really woo you in a sense can be very beneficial as well to your heart healing, and kind of the mirroring of the self-esteem that you've been working to build within, kind of having somebody else that's going to come forward and be very tender with you, very romantic with you, want to take you out on dates, want to cook you dinner, engage in kind of deep and meaningful conversations with one another, whatever the context is. This is your future self letting you know that you deserve this. You deserve this kind of romantic energy, this attention that is being directed to you, this person who is getting ready to come forward. It's a very beneficial situation. In a lot of ways, it's going to help to really sort of lighten up or alleviate heaviness that you may have felt within. You may have, kind of been in a space of sort of going it on your own, just kind of working on yourself, working on your own abundance, detaching from patterns, healing patterns, but it may have been a very kind of solo or lonely journey. You're now getting ready to kind of encounter someone who can meet you at that level. It feels to be more than just, oh, you're going to make a good friend. No, this is kind of like romance, like you're ready for romance. It's time to infuse this very beautiful energy into your life. This is the time, this is the place for it. You're ready for this. You're ready to take this chance, and just really trusting in yourself to kind of navigate through this. Again, no need to rush in. Take your time, be very patient with yourself. And communication is definitely a key here as far as growing and evolving with this individual into whatever the situation may unfold into for you. So I'm going to get one of these mantra cards, and this can be kind of a closing message from your future self or something like a mantra you incorporate into your daily practice, or something that you just kind of keep in mind relative to this new energy that is coming in towards you. Okay, and we have, I create positive actions through the cycle of change. So this is definitely a confirmation that your love life is about to undergo a beautiful change. You are entering into a new cycle, stepping out of kind of a period of needing to heal very quietly, very internally, just kind of going it alone, focusing on your abundance. Now you're ready to, call in. You've actively been manifesting a like-minded individual, a partner who is very resonant with the vibration you've been cultivating within yourself. And you're getting ready to step into a season of growth through positive experiences of love and romance, which for some of you, a lot of you, may seem like a very foreign concept. That may not have been sort of the trend in your romantic history. You may have had a lot of very destructive relationships, disappointing relationships, a lot that you've had to heal from. So necessarily and understandably, you would be a bit guarded to opening up to falling back into those same patterns unconsciously or consciously. But your future self wants you to really step forward with the assurance and the knowing that the work you've done on yourself has been effective. You have, even just by becoming aware of your own patterns and tendencies or trends that have shown up in your romantic life or core wounds within yourself, that's a very profound step in the direction of breaking free of these things. But you can only do so much of that work internally. It needs to almost be actualized through the experience of romance, of dating, of partnership with other people. You've reached kind of the end of a phase of healing on your own, and now is really the time to allow yourself to experience the healing power of love, the positive experiences of love and partnership that are wanting to come in for you on the not too distant horizon. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first or a last name, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got Z, Y, K, B, N, F, and T. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I'm also running a sale in my Etsy shop now through the end of the month of February. Everything is marked down 15%. So if you have had your eye on a piece of jewelry or a dream catcher, you've been considering getting a reading with me, now would be the time to act upon that, since I don't often run sales. I've also launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there is a little different from here. I do pick-a-cards as well as general energy check-ins, but the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, ascension, wellness, and self-love. So if any of that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out, and I thank you for your support there, as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.